It's windy out here, so it's going to be kind of all, terrible sound. But one of the things I want to get into is about knowledge. Not only knowledge, but theories, explanations. And the question of how much do you want to know? Sometimes there are things you don't really want to know everything. Nobody wants to know every detail about everything in the world. We don't even want to know that many details about certain limited things. Sometimes our knowledge is really for a purpose. It's not just what do we know, but, and how do we know. But is it really valid to us? Does it matter? Is it relevant? That's an important question. And I always think about that, because sometimes people can refine the world to death. When I used to go through anxiety attacks, I used to think about things and think about things and think about things and try to understand the world. And I think sometimes you can go too far. I think you can go nuts trying to explain everything, trying to understand everything. You can understand it to death, It's enough to understand things, like sometimes I don't even have to understand every element of a thing. What's important is to understand what I need to know to be able to function. To be able to function in the world. But sometimes there are times when I'm just curious about something just because I just want to know. Like, every day I would go past the cemetery, and I do, and I'm going to go past it again. And I didn't know anything about it. For 20 years I'm going past that cemetery. I didn't know anything about that place. It's a cemetery called Graceland Cemetery. Now I know the name of it. I didn't even know the name of it. And I know there's some interesting people in there. The brother of Charles Dickens is buried in that cemetery. He's not the most famous person in that cemetery. The brother of Charles Dickens, of course. I guess not too many people even know who the heck. I don't even know what his name is. I'd have to look it up in the thing. There's a list of famous people. But one of the most famous people in there that I thought was interesting was Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was once the heavyweight champion of the world. And he was black, and he was a heavyweight champion, and he was in a boxing match back in 1910. And when he won that match against a white boxer, it led to riots all over the country because there were a lot of people who thought that he shouldn't be the heavyweight champion. Interesting thing. I could go over all that stuff, talk about it forever, but it's just interesting. You learn things about stuff. And it makes the world a little bit more interesting. Sometimes knowledge just makes the world more interesting. Not so much solves a problem or fixes anything, but just it's interesting. I could talk about that cemetery, by the way, forever, because there's a lot of stuff in there, by the way. A lot of people in there who, you could write a whole novel, which somebody kind of did, about some of the people who are buried in that cemetery who were famous. There were a couple of mayors, actually about 5 different mayors of Chicago, a few governors. There was one man who was the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court under President somebody way back in the 1800s. But I won't even go into all that. But this is about knowledge and importance. Who are you? Missy, come here. Get you. Who are you? Whose dog is this? Okay. Somebody's little dog is over here. I'm taking it. That's that guy's dog. That one over there. That black dog. Anyway, I'm going to stop right here because I don't know anything about that.